Hey guys, a lot of people have been asking me how do I carry my gear on my bike for these long trips that I take. They don't understand how that I can just camp from the bike and I don't need any more gear. So I'm going to show you the gear I typically carry. I've got two setups that I run. I run what I call my lightweight setup and my heavyweight setup. The difference between the lightweight and the heavyweight is basically temperature. I can haul a lot smaller gear when the weather's nice, and then when the weather's going to be cold, I have to haul a lot heavier gear. So I'm going to show you the lightweight setup right now. This is my tent. I bought it at Walmart, believe it or not, on clearance. It's really cheap, and it's turned out to be a fantastic tent. It actually has aluminum poles and it's not too bad to set up, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. As you can see, it's quite easy to set up. Got vents on each side. Very nice little setup. Let's take you inside so you can see it better. Okay, as you can see, it's screened in. So there's an inner section to the tent. It's pretty long. Here, we'll just get in there. Alright guys, I'm 5'11", and as you can see, I have plenty of room. Very, very comfortable. The mesh is close to my face, but not on my face. There's plenty enough room for a person to sleep in here. If you're looking for a tent to hang out all day in and stuff like that, this is not the tent. This is a tent for the end of the night when you go to sleep. It does have a nice vestibule area. Right there's your vestibule area. You can store your gear and whatnot. Pretty roomy. Pretty nice little setup. So let's get into some of my actual sleeping gear. Don't know if I walked out of frame there, but here's my sleeping pad. I've had lower back surgery and I can't sleep without a pad. This is a Bavario sleeping pad. It's really lightweight, doesn't weigh much, and it's very easy to air up. No pump needed. It's one of those X pattern sleeping pads. I'll show you. Takes about 10 breaths to air it up. Alright, and there it is. As you can see, it's very easy to air up. It doesn't take a whole lot. And that just goes right in there on the bottom. That gives me something nice and soft to lay on. Now let's get my sleeping bag out. Here's my sleeping bag. It's a 40 degrees Fahrenheit sleeping bag. It comes from Walmart. They're, I think, like $40 or something like that. It's nothing real impressive, but it is pretty nice. It compacts down so small. It's not down or anything like that. It's just a light bag. It's a full-length sleeping bag, and this goes in there. This next device I want to show you, I carry this if I'm lightweight or heavyweight camping. I actually carry this device. Constantly something that happens to me is my batteries go dead, and there's never an adequate place to charge them. So what I have here is a RAV Power foldable solar panel. They're a little expensive, just a little pricey, not bad. This is the 16 watt. Has dual USB ports. And you just set that out in the sun, plug your charging cord into the USB, and then plug your phone or whatever device you may need to charge, and then you've got to charge your battery. Give me just a minute and I will switch things over and we'll check out the heavyweight setup. Alright, so this is my tent. It's a cheap Walmart tent. When it's really cold, it's nice to not have to duck so low to get in and out of your tent, have a little more space to move around. So I'll set that up real quick. Here you have the tent, guys. Let me get my sleeping pad out and my sleeping bag and show you the differences there. So this is my sleeping pad. It's self-inflating and it's insulated, which allows me to get down into a lot colder temperatures. It insulates you from the ground better than just an air mattress. Really makes things a lot better. And all you do, you open the valve, you just kind of unwrap it, throw it in there, and it'll take care of itself. Now I will say, when that sleeping mat gets fully inflated, you will have to blow a couple breaths of air in it to get it to the correct firmness for you. This is my sleeping bag. As you'll notice, it's a lot bigger. And it's in a compression sack right now. I could have went with a down bag, which would have been much smaller, but the cost would have been much more also. So what we have is just a cheap Walmart bag. And there we go, guys. That's my camping gear. There is one other thing I want to show you. I'll have to go get it. It'll take me just a second. A lot of people say that they can't afford all the gear. This isn't true. Most of this gear comes from Walmart. It's all very cheap. It doesn't cost a lot. And a lot of people say, well, the trike is really expensive, and granted, trikes are really expensive, but I'm going to show you the bike I started doing these trips on. So this is the bike that I started doing those trips on. You get these at Academy Sports. They're like $130. Now they don't come with the racks. I added those racks, but the racks wasn't that expensive either. I got those off Amazon. And got a set of front bags for it that snap onto each side in the front. They're made by Nash Bar. They weren't expensive either. So you've got a bag for each side in the front. That. And then these Roswell bags will easily fit there. As well as the top bag. So you end up with a very cheap bicycle. I've maybe got the entire setup with all the bags and everything. I've probably got $250 in it, and maybe another $75 in my tent and sleeping gear. The most expensive part being that the sleeping pad, oh, I forget what brand it is now. The Thermarest sleeping pad was probably the most expensive thing in my gear as far as my sleeping equipment. So there you have it, guys. You know, if you think you can't ride that far, you think you can't throw down those big numbers like I do. I know this month alone, or last month rather, I rode well over 200 miles. Don't set your goal that high. Just get out there and do it. You know, when I first started riding, I couldn't ride very far either. You know, it took me a long time to build up an endurance to be able to do that. And so just get out there, you know, get you some gear, whatever you can afford, and get out there and just start enjoying what God gives us. Y'all take it easy.